Here we have the Genesta. We have quite a few plants of this in flower. This is Genesta canariensis, the Canary Island broom. A wonderful plant for cold, sunny growing areas. And again, it's often used in the West. It'll take it down as an outside planting plant, but it'll take it down into the 20s with ease. And it's one of those plants that, as long as it's cold, as long as we get those cool nights, it stays in flower for us. This is Genesta canariensis. We have a couple forms of this. They make excellent standards. These are, as you can see the size of the trunk on this, these are quite old plants. What we do with these is we put them out in the summertime, shear them back hard. They take pruning very easily. They flush out, we shear them. When they flush out, we shear them. And then when we get to late summer, we give them one more hard shearing and we let them come into bloom as the day length decreases. Here's our Guava Tree. This is the Psidium litorale, which is our lemon guava. I don't have any ripe on here yet, but you can see the fruit on it. This is probably one of the best eating of the litorale types. We have a red one and a yellow one. The yellow one is really the best. And there's some flowers of the Fijoya, which is the pineapple guava. It's not a true guava, it's in another genus, but and this produces a large kind of green fruit that ripens in the fall. Very good tasting. And you can see, as this is a pot right here going up, it's quite a prolific plant for that size fruit. It makes for that size tree, puts out a lot of flowers, and a tree like this would have probably, I don't know, a dozen or two fruit on it by the end of the season. And one amazing thing about this is the resiliency to dryness. I mean, this is a plant that can take tremendous arid conditions in its soil, like forget to water it, and it will still come back and thrive. And also the petals are edible. You can actually eat them. They're sweet. This is Encente Morellii, which is I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this is the Ethiopian banana, and we grow it here. Had one over the years. And it grows very tall under the greenhouse conditions. The petioles, that's the leaf stem here, wouldn't be so big if you had it outside. But periodically we just chop the thing back and it comes right back up again. And then we chop it back and it comes right up again. It probably will never fruit and flower in the greenhouses. It needs to get up to about 20 feet. And there's just not enough room there for it. But it's an interesting plant. This is our old acacia tree that my father actually planted in the ground for cut flowers for Valentine's Day, and this is Decurrens devalter, Acacia Decurrens devalter, and on it we've mounted our staghorn fern, which is Platycerum olympiae. It's been here for many years. This plant is actually nearly dead. The only thing holding it up the only thing keeping it alive is this one little piece right here of live cambium. As you can see, you can shake it, and it's actually attached to the top of the greenhouse. And I always expect it to die, but it never does. And about Valentine's Day, it comes into flower. We have to make sure we prune it properly. And again, this is another plant that needs the cold in order for it to flower. Ahead here we have our orange tree, or our citrus tree. This originally was planted in 1963. This house froze up in a bad cold snap, and with some problems with the boilers, and it killed our orange tree, which was sitting here. And that next year they replanted it with a Washington nabel, and it grew up and produced fruit. And then as I grew up, I learned to graft, and I got different citrus and types of citrus, and I started top grafting this tree. So right now we have probably about 10 varieties on this tree, and we use this as a mother plant, stock plant source for cutting material, but it also produces fruit for us. You can see up in the top here, this is actually fruit that's on this is blood orange. That's our mother plant for Sanguinelia, blood orange, which is actually an interesting plant. It bears reliably every year, and many times, and I can show you on the other side, we have fruit that'll hang on for a whole year, but there's really no juice inside. This one is very good for containers in that it stays juicy as long as it hangs on the plant. And we have grapefruit on here. We have tempo. We have tangerines. We have Valencia orange. We have a kumquat. We got this Ujitsu sweet lime. And the thing is, I put so much on it that I can't really go any farther, because on grafting, leads will dominate one another, and you have to kind of keep it pruned properly in order to keep everything going, and it's pretty much maxed out. But it is an interesting plant in that you can produce a really salad bowl of citrus on one plant like this. And it is in the ground, so it's got a lot of vigor to it. So from this side you can see we have, it's actually in flower right now. This is the temple bloom, the blooms of the temple flowers. There's lots of flowers up there. We have tangerines. There's some grapefruit still hanging up there. That's temple up in the top there that are hanging on. And probably these have been on so long that they wouldn't be edible, but at least they remain ornamental for us. This is another example of this is a little bit not quite as far along as the other one, but of that Genesta canariensis, the Canary Island Canary Island broom, and it really does make a great standard. You can see how it's formed here. And this is one of our really oldest plants in the greenhouse that we know of. There's probably two competing, and it's sort of a legend in the family how this actually came about. This is a kumquat tree, and this is Fortunella margarita, the standard kumquat, which is your long oval kumquat. It came into the greenhouses during the 30s, and during that period of time, my uncle, the family actually, but my uncle would, they grew cut flowers. That's how we started out as florists and cut flower growers. Actually, as a kid, I can still remember small beds of cut flowers in the ground here. And what they would do is they would make bouquets up, and then they'd go out on a route selling. And my uncle had a route in West Hartford selling flowers to the wealthy people in West Hartford. And he got to, it's a weekly thing. He'd go around and sell the flowers. We got to know some people, and one was an older woman who lived on an estate. She had a greenhouse, and she was getting up in age. And she, after a while, she's finally, decided to part with some of her stuff. And one of them was this kumquat tree, which she'd had since she was a little girl. So it goes 1930s, goes way back into the 1800s that this plant had come through her family, and she gave it to my uncle.